Hold there, Apple Biteies. This is your Apple Bite Written Writ Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ. Show where you and I you get creative, have fun, and geek out. It is time to party. It is time to go down under because both of our guests are in Australia. So, you know, we're going international today, folks.
I wish I was in Australia. Can I say that?
Welcome anytime.
Plenty of sun to share it in here.
I gotta say, I feel like we've gotten more fond of Australia ever since Bluey came out.
Yeah. I thought it was, you want to come here, have a beer, put a shrimp on the barbie, that sort of thing. You like Jim Carrey,
See, that was my generation, Gen X. Crocodile Dundee. We were like that, but now you got a whole other thing with the next generation because they like Bluey.
That's it.
Bluey. I mean, Bluey does seem to sneak into houses very, very heavily. Like we had, I didn't have much exposure to Bluey, and then we suddenly, we've got a couple of kids, and now Bluey's just like word for word know every single episode and all the things that are happening.
I don't want to hear about it. All I know is when I had my kids, it was the freaking Wiggles, and we couldn't turn them off. And Bluey's like mild compared to that.
Well, the thing is,
mild.
you don't really escape any of them. Is one of the things is like you think like, oh yeah, the Wiggles got left behind, but then you realize that like no, all of these kids shows just kind of snowball. And so you've got, you end up with like all of them just kind of constant. Like we've got True and the Wiggles and Bluey. Paw Patrol, it just sort of, they kind of just all pile on. And like the last kid we had like the good 5 or 6, and now that we're in rotation, now we've got those plus like the next 5 or 6 that have come out since then. And they never seem to really fall off. They just kind of expand and accumulate. And you do sort of start finding ones that I think your favorites, like little jingles in your head as you're cooking dinner and stuff. You're like, oh yeah, that's all right,
Oh yeah, I completely know because when my daughter was younger, it was a lot of those shows, and that's how I ended up with Bluey because she was still kind of young when Bluey came out. Because people forget that Bluey's been around for a while now.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually I didn't really think much of it, and then like we got to when it came out in America, we are just like, oh yeah, cool, like you guys get it now, and then we found out that like you guys get a censored version of Bluey, and I was like, wow, like I guess they really do need to kind of remove some of the Australian out of it. We just do have like a default swear language and just like this kind of straightforward aspect to it all, I guess.
I don't get it because I've seen the versions that you're talking about, and they're so tame.
They are very tame. It's so tame.
I don't understand why they're cutting things.
It's. I mean, I don't know. They've got their reasons, I guess, but like, yeah, it's not crazy stuff. Like, I mean, it's the stuff we show.
Well, it's a lot of
kids.
It's a lot of what poop and fart humor. But I'm like, dude, we have Teen Titan Go, so we have enough poop and fart humor.
I grew up with Benny Hill. Come on, it's compared to that.
Yeah, right. It's like, I mean, Three Stooges was on repeat through the day, like just 3 guys just beating the crap out of each other.
Oh my god,
nonstop.
Yeah. Dude, Tom and Jerry alone caused so many issues.
Yep.
Oh man.
Those
we
guys,
warned you, Anthony. Yeah. We warned you.
Yeah. That happens. Speaking of Anthony, I like what I saw, and I'm actually happy you reached out to be on the show because this is beautiful work, man.
Thank you.
So Anthony, why don't you tell the people all the good stuff? Give them the spiel. Go ahead, let them have it. Go.
Oh god, that elevator pitch. Yeah, so it's a fantasy comic book series that I've been working on since 2016. We're into the 3rd volume. It's actually the 4th book. We have a volume 1.5, which was an illustrated novel. It's a fantasy. If you like things like Lord of the Rings, or if you like things like The Labyrinth, you're going to love this 1980s style fantasy filled with dragon gods. The premise is the world. I wrote this series in 2015. It's a dream planet. The Big Bang happened, but it was 13 dragon gods colliding with each other. And there are wizards that can control the power of dreams through art. So There's the captivaries that can draw and capture an enemy on a page or an item or even a building. There's luminaries that can draw and bring creatures to life as well. And that is, basically the premise of it. That there's these 13 gods all fighting for the control of the dream realm. And, the way you control the dragon gods is they have an artifact. And so if, as you can imagine, it's filled with fantasy and adventure. Lots of fun. The main protagonist, his name is Thrakos. He discovers he's a captivary. He's trying to control his powers, and we're finally at the point where he's going to these dream wells where has to baptize himself in these waters so that he doesn't become a demonic entity. But so he thinks anyway. So I won't spoil the cliffhanger. But I've had a lot of very successful books. Thanks to fans, we're almost there. About 74% funded, I think. I don't have Kick Track open, around about 73. I definitely would have to say the landscape of Kickstarter has changed in the 10 years that I've been doing comics. And we also have D&D books with it. We did a 70K D&D book in 2024.
I saw you mention that while we were talking in the green room, and I was like, D&D. Oh, now we're talking.
So if you like D&D, I have a whole lore setting guide and campaign based on the comic book series. So even if you're like a home brewer, it's perfect for home brewers. You can run it from level 1 to 20, it's lots of fun. So that's where I'm at, and I also am doing animated shorts at the moment for my channel. I do a bit of voice acting. I have got a bit of an acting background, very creative in many spaces myself, I'm doing these funny shorts, kind of like memes or fantasy tropes. So just lots of fun with that. So they're starting to get a bit of traction. I'm really enjoying just making animated shorts as well. I love making art, but I guess I'm really enjoying, telling a story through animated shorts. So the ones at the top are the ones at the animated shorts. You're kind of going down to my art. But if you go right the top 8, last 8, they're starting to hit 3,000 and 2,000 views, and they're funny memes. We got a fart meme there. So if you look at a truly fearsome spell, there's a fart meme on the Sphinx artwork, the artwork of the Sphinx, the blue one. I think third across, that one there. There's a fart joke there. I'll let you play it if you want to. I dare you to play it. I don't know. It's up to you. So,
this potion makes you transparent.
Oh, invisible?
No, emotionally honest.
That's worse.
Thrakos, this potion
I guess the
makes
next
you...
one.
Master, I can't seem to gain weight.
Oh, yes, it's all this adventuring and here.
I've realized that one of the things that YouTube does is that you'll press on a video and it'll show you something else. And I'm like, why are we doing that?
Oh, wow.
Master, how are we going to defeat this Sphinx?
Behold, the forbidden wind of doom.
That sounds illegal.
I cast Farticus Maximus.
I mean, that was a wet one.
You've cursed the ozone layer, Master.
Oh my god.
Worth it. Felt powerful. I'm sure he won't be giving us any riddles.
That was funny.
I'm enjoying making these. I've just, my assistant's never seen me happy. I was just let's keep on doing these. And I think she's enjoying the animation side, because she's like, how can I make this more gaseous or, So it's good to do something different. And I think this is the challenge of the Kickstarter, it not going, I've had 20K books Punlkys Arcade. We've had Kickstarters have done very well, but the whole platform's changed. Marvel, DC's come in, NSFW comics have taken over, as we know. And so a G-rated comic like mine is obviously not as viral as, a Kickstarter is very an adult space. So, I'm thinking of pivoting to other stuff, not giving up on the series, and starting to look at a publisher as well, looking at going with Scholastic or someone like that, because my stuff is very much Narnia and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So once this book funds, which I'm sure it will, we're definitely pivoting to different, maybe the old traditional publishing avenues and talking to the bigger publishers, because it's just, you know, the audience has shifted, you know, as we've said, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's time to really level up in other areas and find ways of growing the brand, you know. So
I think Scholastic's is a really good move for something that's within reach of like a broad audience. I also, like, one of the big things, like, I was very hesitant to go on Kickstarter at first, mainly from my time working in other studios. I sort of got to see how the algorithm was changing. And like, if you look at my campaign's algorithm, this is sort of something I would like to sort of throw out for people as well who are thinking of doing these things. The goal, like, as anyone who's made a comic will know, like, you can't make a comic for $1,500 or $1,000.
No.
But the goal was set at that amount, mainly because that's what I could bring in easily off my fan base within the first 48 hours. And the quicker that you hit that 100% funded mark, the more Kickstarter will push your book to the front of the algorithmic page, where hopefully more people who are searching for stuff within that genre will be able to see it. Because let's face it, like, social media is just throttling exposure. Like, you can't reach even the people, like your friends and family, half the time if you post something.
It's the most amazing thing in the world. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, they want you to pay to advertise. Now, here's the funny thing. When you pay to advertise, you know who sees it? The people on your list that weren't seeing it before.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where the way I sort of see the Kickstarter is like one of those things where it's like, you're sort of fighting the machine more than the people most of the time.
I think it's a fine. Sorry to interject. I think it's a fine balance as well. It's a fine balance. Like, I mean, I wanted a goal of $8,000 really because it's a 48-page painted graphic novel. I got to print it. I got to pay for marketing. So I am doing a bit of advertising, not a huge amount. And so for me, it's like, well, then I spoke with an advisor and he said I should have set the goal to $4,000 because I set it to $6,000. But I'm like, what happens though? Like, I have enough fans right now. I'm sitting at $4,000, and that's like my core fans is about 55 really passionate fans. It used to be like 200, and as time shifts, people get married, they get kids. You lose fans. You got to bring new people in. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the reality is, like, if I dropped it to $4,000. I might get 100%, like, you know, I get to that 100% quicker, but will it just plateau? And I've had projects where I set the goal low, like little art projects, and, you know, they plateau, or it's like enamel pins. I do enamel pins. I've done different sort of Kickstarters. I've done about 30. Yeah. And as a veteran, I'm like, you know what? You know, it's great to get that 100%, but if you're below your goal or you're barely funding it, like now I'm kind of at a safe spot at $6,000. It'll fund the books, and I already had a lot of the books painted because I've been painting the double page spreads. I don't know if you can see, are you showing my screen? So a lot of the art was already done for the comic as well. I'm painting pages right now as well, live streaming pages as well. I don't know if you can see my page. I'm sharing it into the thing as well. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if you set it too low, there's a risk that it won't get traction, and you might just plateau or make only $1,000 more. And you're like, well, crap, you know, what's the point of that as well? So there are people that have the low goals and they only get what they want, you know? So I'm like, you got to make a compromise. And I think, you know, I understand where you're coming from. And I think it's like, if you really think that it has mass appeal, like you probably with your comic, has like some element of mass appeal with the sexiness of it. You know what I mean? Like, not judging. I'm just saying, like, that's NSFW stuff is what really does well. And maybe if I did a romantasy book,
it's absolutely a factor. Like, working, for instance, in Bad Bug Media, like speaking with Mike, it was a strategic decision for Bad Bug to do a series of sexier comics because they fund the other ones. And so for myself, it was just a logical choice to be like, the first one out the gate has to be something with mass appeal if I want to launch the rest of the studio's content. So, you know, like there's Nevermore and a whole bunch of other ones that are coming out that don't have like that sort of take on it. Trapdoor has, you know, it's more of an action Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde body horror comic. But that one, I sort of looked at it and went, yeah, like this is probably going to be a much later project, mainly just for that issue. And like, because after like I sort of watched the whole system change over about 5 years and just went, yeah. And like first one I actually had that was coming out the gate was called Demoted Super Zeros, and it was a comedy, and it was mostly written. But then I realized it's not going to, it's going to take money out of the studio rather than put money into it.
It was a great story and lots of fun too.
Yeah, and it is still coming down the pipeline, but I just looked at it like logistically and went, you know, if I put something out there that's going to get more traction, get more people's eyes on things, they can come into the studio space as they discover the studio and find those other content projects and products, and sort of be like, okay, we'll vote this up when we're ready. I usually won't launch or even consider launching unless I've got about a following of about 200 people behind a project, because you're only likely to get about less than a quarter of those people actually jump in and back. And so, yeah, it's a numbers game these days. It's a real sort of, you know, you kind of have to look at like a lot of different angles. And like I've been watching this it's great to actually meet you too, because it's like it's there's so much stuff out there where you're kind of like you just see posters and you're like, oh yeah, like that's cool, this is cool, and then like, you know, to actually meet people and be like, oh wow, like this is a person behind this. So it's really good to meet you too, Anthony.
Nice to meet you. You've seen my art, have you?
Well, yeah, I've been stalking Kickstarter and just kind of going like, I've been like, you know, I was looking on the Australian feed and I was just like, oh, who's in Australia that's coming up? And then I was just like, I saw your stuff up there and I was like, oh, that looks really cool.
Thank you. So, happy to cross promote with you as well if you want, like do an update and stuff. So, you know. Yeah,
I mean, I do. You know, that's one of the things I'm sort of learning about as well, is like cross promoting and stuff. Learning more about it. You know, I definitely, you know, wouldn't want to make sure that I'm not sort of like, as you said before, my stuff's more in the spicy field. So I want to make sure that also like I'm not upsetting your very finely tuned fan base by kind of having them go like, what are you guys doing shoving that down my throat? It's like,
oh, you know, it's so fun that you say that, because we've seen it happen. We've seen, you know, oh, why are you?
Well,
I'm happy you're both talking about this, because you know, the way that things are on Kickstarter right now, there's a lot of people out there who they put these low funding goals. And that's why when we have people on to talk about their Kickstarters, we tell people, look, I know you're looking at this and go, oh, look, they funded. You know, that doesn't mean they're in a good place. Usually double or triple what they have out, and you know, that's a better place for them to be.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like you were saying, like you don't want to get caught in the valley of, you know, inability to move forward. It. Well, yeah. Like, so for myself, like I created Punky with Donnie with the over the span of a year with the intention of running it at a loss. That was the whole concept for myself, because it's the first one out the gate for the studio, so it was literally a logistics aspect of this is advertising. This is me turning around and saying, we exist, here it is. So, you know, it's there is that reality that you can end up in a situation where you go, we don't have the funding. And so for myself, it's like, you know, if I hire, like, it also helps that like I do a lot of the art and all the writing and all that other stuff. And so like some people don't have that benefit, some people do. Like, so so for myself, I could basically go and do other jobs in other studios, then take that money and then put that to a line artist and be like Donnie, and go, hey, I just want you to take over this while I'm hectically busy over here doing other stuff. And then when that comes in, I can do a lot of poster work, a lot of other stuff, and kind of keep running through that. Not everyone's in that same circumstance. So my advice is also advice that kind of works for my situation. It's one of those ones where I looked at it and went, yeah, I can run this at a bit more of a loss if I have to, because the bills have all been paid, everything's already been done. I'm not looking to recoup anything on Punky. What I'm actually looking to do with all those funds is actually push it back into Punky 2 and then push it over into Candy's Corner. And if there's anything else in it, that's getting thrown into Trapdoor. And if for some reason we get blown up even more, it's like, well, that's going into Demoted Super Zeros. Like, all it really means is more stuff down the pipeline faster, the higher the things go. If that, you know, and again, like, that doesn't always work out. So we're being hopeful, planning for, you know, the worst, but being hopeful. And it's sort of, you know, it's sort of paid off for us. But it is one of those ones where I would look at, you know, for my situation, like, I think I've posted a few pictures up around the place where it's like, if you look at like the graphs and the pie charts and stuff, it's quite consistently been about 80 to 85% of the supporters have come from Kickstarter themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the same for everyone else's experience. That's just for my own. And so
It's
I've
funny
sort
that you
of
mentioned that, because we were talking about in the green room where you know, usually if you do cons, you know, I know Anthony does cons. The people at the con won't help your Kickstarter, because their thought process is, I'm gonna see you again, I'm gonna track you down again, I'm gonna find you again at the next con. I don't need to support your Kickstarter.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that like is I've heard as well, which is why I was sort of like, okay, I've got to probably start here first. But also, I sort of found that some people were got a few things on my mind at once here. Which ones to get down the pipeline first? ADHD, kick in, help me. So basically, when it sort of came to choosing to do this one first, I thought, it's already got the juices cooking on like, well, how do I go about getting more people into this rather than sort of buying it off me later? Or how do I get more people down the pipeline to look at coming into this campaign? And so it really, if you sort of spend time reading through it, you'll see like it's very prize heavy. It's very giveaway heavy. I learned a lot from a lot of people, sort of like watching a lot of podcasts like this one and stuff like that, where I've kind of gone, some people really got screwed over by sort of loading up their campaigns with physical prize packs instead of like digitals and stuff like that, and like giving people inside immersive content instead. Like they were kind of giving them like physical treasure, which is great, but that should be more of an add-on thing. And so yes, like I learned a lot from just watching other people like you know, like yourselves and more experienced people like Anthony, who've, you know, done it a lot more than, you know, for
I gotta
a long
say,
time.
like I see this one here where the digital spicy Punky phone booth recording. You know, that's different. You know, you don't usually see that.
No, well, that's the thing. Like that was one of the ones where I have the right connections. I've got the right people. And, you know, I went, all right, we've got spicy voice actors. Let's get some spicy voice stuff. And, like a lot of people were sort of leaning more into covers and things, but like we were going to sell that one, and I just went, actually, like, again, we've run the campaign at a loss already, like with that whole intention. Let's give this away as a prize. It's going to hopefully help cause some swell, that like there is a lot more being given away here than in most campaigns. And if people do come in and support, then, you know, the average person, if they come in and buy, like the average spend, I think, is, you know, around about, you know, 90 USD. I think it fluctuates between 70 and 90 on any given day. And like, we wanted to make sure they're getting more than that, so that is something that they want to keep coming back for. And so, yeah, having these things that were just sort of thrown into the pack, like firstly off the bat, like, you know, I almost screwed myself over very early on, because I was I'd worked in bigger studios like Bad Bug and, you know, Laguna and things like that, where I was just like, oh, they put in these, you know, holofoil free giveaways, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool, easy done. And then I went to do that, I put it in, then I was like, I'm going to give away plus this and these other things. And then I went back into the background, looked at the logistics with the printer I'd chosen, and I was like, oh crap, this isn't going to balance. And so I started like looking at I had to run back and look at like different distribution factors. And we got it balanced, but the first week was definitely scrambling because we didn't expect it to be so big. And so yeah, so like there's a lot of logistics in the background, but we're having a lot of fun with it. And I think like Anthony's like you were saying with your stuff, it's like they're very different beasts between Spicy World and Wholesome World. And like how Kickstarter handles them, like how the fandoms handle them and stuff are very, very different. And to sort of bring the wheel back to the start, I think like I think like you're saying, like Scholastic, I think is a great idea. Like there was a couple of people offering like really, really good funding. Like I saw online a while back, they were offering really good funding for like those similar programs in Australia. And
look into it. Is it still running?
I will look it up actually. Like I will, I'll send you the details through Facebook.
Sure,
I found it, but like honestly, like the amount of funding they're offering for like fully completed comics was more than I've made on my campaign. So it's
it might be worth looking into that and saying.
Well, yeah, like
I've already problem is like if I've already published on Kickstarter, will they still take it, or maybe? Yeah, that's the big issue.
You know what? I haven't looked that far into it myself because my content is absolutely not what they were looking for. But I've handed
perfect for it, isn't it? Come on.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's not how I think people want to educate their children. It's
I know some people don't educate their children like that.
Birds and the bees.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, you know what? Like, it's. I mean, to be honest, it's probably still a little more educational than the early internet days that experienced. That was a lot. But
that was a lot.
So yeah, like I think I think there's a lot of programs out there for people who are looking for them that fund the arts and fund like comics, particularly. Absolutely. I will see if I can hand it across to yourself there, Ralph, as well, and to yourself, Anthony. Yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, there doesn't seem to be a shortage either. So like, it's not I don't think it's a thing where it's like, oh my god, they're only doing it for like 2 people. It's like it seems to be an ongoing thing that they kind of seek out throughout the year and find more people and all that kind of stuff. Cool. So yeah, like I think for people who are probably feeling a bit disheartened about like wanting to, not
changes,
the changes and not wanting to do spicy stuff. Like there is some really good stuff out there, but I think it's just finding it. It's finding it. Like
the other thing is like I'm a veteran, as you said. Like I don't know how old you are, but like I'm 46 this year, and it's kind of getting Kickstarters are the cost of my health. Like I found out I got arthritis in my upper back now, sitting down.
Yeah.
So like, it's, I mean, I'm happy to market a book. Like I go to enough events. I'm more of a physical monkey in the sense of like, people know me from events. I sell better at events versus online. Yeah. And like, for me, it just makes more like Kickstarter's been great, but it's like the platform's changed. I've evolved, and it's marketing the whole book by myself. I'm doing the marketing, the Facebook ads. I'm doing
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, content, and I'm still going to continue to. I'm enjoying making the content now. I found a way to make content enjoyable with these fart jokes, great. But the reality is, like, I have to have my assistant helping me. It's a 30-day project, and if it doesn't profit, then it's also like a big cost to me in the sense of my health and my time with family and friends, and And like you've got kids. I haven't even gotten married or have kids, and it is because of I maybe need to partner with other people. That's the reality of it, partner with a publisher or something like that, So
it's it's definitely it's one of those things that like my early life. I was a personal trainer for a long time and dietitian and coach and and I can honestly say that. I think that's one of the things people don't look at is how much art life is really, really impactful on people's health. And I won't go down too far down that rabbit hole because that will be a whole other podcast. But effectively, I've never seen.
We can do that podcast at another day.
Yeah, I'll brush over this and move on because this is a really somber topic. But basically, there are a lot of people fading out of this world in like their 40s in the comic industry. Compared to other industries, and like I've seen other industries where people are like burnt out to the end, but they still retire in their 60s, 70s, whereas I'm seeing like an ungodly amount of fellow artists just like not making it out of their 40s or leaving in their early 50s, and that's one of those things that I like. It like my health started to tank after the first 3-4 years like doing this full time. And then I just went, oh, okay, great. I've got to get a standing desk. I need to have a walker pad. I need to go and have a gym in the garage again. I need to be putting an alarm where I was like every hour. I'm like, nope. I get outside. I got to soak that sun up. I got to walk. Like you have to make yourself break out of that.
You do.
Because you go into that hyper focus. I don't know if everyone does this, but like I go into like the hyper focus fugue state, and then like now I have a whole thing where I'll keep a TV show going on in the background, like something that's 45 minutes or so. And once I hit the trailers, I'm up and I have to move. And like, it doesn't always work. But like, it's so much of it doesn't seem like a big thing at the time because you get comfy. Yeah. But yeah, man, it builds up. It really nukes you so hard. So like, but
we see it all the time. Like, a lot of our friends who have been doing this for a long time, after a while, it does affect their health or something happens with their health or they're going through something with their health. It's interesting.
Well, the lack of
be that way. Yeah.
Well, the lack of movement is like there's a health thing came out, and oh no, I'm on the rabbit hole now. The health thing came out, and it was basically pointing out how not moving is equivalent or worse than like long-term smoking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and that's something I'm mindful of. Like I'm lucky that I kind of do the conventions because I'm lifting suitcases, I'm standing, I'm selling, and that's why I enjoy it. Like as much as I'm like, oh man, I just want to stay home and paint. It gives me that balance, and that's why I love the conventions. Yeah, and also I am quite a physically. Obviously, being single, I still have the opportunity to go to the gym a lot more than most people. So, I think 2023, I just went on a massive health kick. I'm still on that health kick, but life gets in the way. But I lost like 15 kilos. I started working out more.
Congrats, man.
Pumping weights, nice. And I'm going back to that now, and I'm doing like intermittent fasting. And like you said, like I've got a walking buddy. I go walking nearly every second day, or I'm hitting the gym like hard on the weights. But obviously at my age, don't want to get arthritis. So
yeah,
I feel you, brother.
That's it. Let's keep on. We should do like a stretch class while we're drawing.
Yeah, comics.
Right. That'd be something new. Stretch with Anthony.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because Anthony, you have a video on your Kickstarter. AZ, you don't have a video on your Kickstarter.
No.
So I've heard the fight on both sides. Some people go, you should have a video. Some people go, you shouldn't have a video. What do you guys think?
Firstly, I think a video is good. I didn't do it because I was against it. I just want to clear that up. I did it because I ran out of time to do something good. Basically, I was so pushed to the wall. I caught COVID again about 2 weeks before we were meant to launch. So that set the launch back again. Punky has been set back a year, as you'll remember, Ralph. So
I know, because I keep bothering you. I'm like, when is it coming? When's it coming?
Yeah, so basically, long story short, a lot of misrepresented sort of people sort of turning up, not doing jobs, $3,000 later. I had to get the funds back and catch up. And so effectively, we got to a sort of point where I went, all right, we're finally back. We're finally getting this going, but we are about a year behind. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to launch this. And then COVID hit, and I'm like, oh, God. And so, it just got to a point where I'm like, right, no video. We're not doing that. Let's just get a poster up and hit go. And, so there was just a point where I just sort of went, look, this is eye-catching enough. That'll do. And then I'll just have to put a bit more effort into making sure that the campaign itself really kind of expresses the emotion that I would have put into the video. I did pour some money into trying to get a soundtrack done. The soundtrack, a song did get sent to me. It absolutely slapped and bopped, but it was AI. And I went, no, that's not happening. I paid someone for a legitimate production, and I kind of got ripped off with
that's messed
scary.
up.
That is scary.
So I just sort of went, well, I'm glad I figured it out before. It was the voice kind of had a bit of a scratchiness to it. And then I ran it past a few people. We just sort of went, nah, and we went and did a bit of a deeper dive. What I learnt was just don't let my ADHD run me down a rabbit hole and, basically invest into things. But, it got to a point where if it had been if things had worked out, I would have had that song. I would have had an intro. I would have tried to give it a early morning cartoon kind of cereal bowl kind of intro feel. It was very sort of glitch pop kind of vibe to it. But yeah, hey, if anyone out there listening is into glitch pop production, let me know and we'll redo it again and we'll make that song and video exist.
You have so many different directions you can go with this because you can do a whole video game intro. You can do a whole cartoon 80s intro. There's so many places you can get with this that you can go with.
Yeah, it's it was very much a point of getting. Again, we're sort of going back to the 80s, 90s nostalgia bombing with I sort of was at a point where I was just sort of really wanting a big bite out of my childhood, and so I went back and went, fine, I'll cook it and bite it myself. And
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've done the same thing.
So the only part that frustrates me is that the first book is 24 pages. So I got so frustrated that we literally are releasing 2 new pages mid-campaign. I just went, no, I want more. And then basically, that is 2 of the pages that are sort of in it, is the 2 new pages for more on the mistress. Sorry, I'm getting right off on tangent here, but long story short, I wanted to have more loud, nostalgic, retro pop stuff in the first issue than we already do have.
Yeah.
It got to a point where basically, but like you sort of know when you're writing, if you kind of just, oversaturate the first sort of chapter with too much, it kind of gets hard to build up from there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
So we sort of started off with, let's get the first part into a good understanding of where everything sits and where all the characters are and things like that. Start planting the hooks, start building in the story beats, and then the next one we have to go a little bit more bombastic, amp it up more and more from the number 2, number 3. It kind of gets into we're sort of number 2. What you can expect us to do is sort of build it up into the stupid levels of 80s stuff, where the TV shows and the movies kind of went a little bit off the wall.
Right.
And then, whereas that's a bit hard to do from point 1 when you're trying to take it from, hey, this is not, we've literally already got Tron level stuff and Dragon Ball level stuff and all kinds of nostalgic level stuff.
Well, this whole thing, it just screams for all that stuff because, it is what it is exactly. And Anthony, just to follow up on this, you did your video. You know what? Let's go to the videotape first, and then we'll come back to it. Hold on. Here we go.
Sure, man. Hi, everyone. I'm Antonios Christou, the creator of the Lumious Ages comic and novel series. I've been crafting the Lumious Ages series since 2016, and now we're celebrating 10-year anniversary with Volume 3. We have created many Lumious Ages comics, stories, and card games, as you can see here, and funded and delivered to all our past backers we are so grateful for. I'm coming to you with our 4th major book, Volume 3, Lumious Ages Dragon Ascension. Now we're bringing you a 48-page graphic novel packed with adventure and excitement. We are now continuing our main series. We are back. In this story, we follow Thrakos on his hero's journey to the dream world of Neurostrios. Thrakos is undergoing a dream transmutation, and as a captivated wizard, he can trap enemies on a page, but he can't control those powers quite well yet. But he must reach the dream world in time, the dream spire, or else he risks turning into a nightmare being. Along the way, he faces numerous challenges and even considers giving up. But with encouragement from his mentor and friend Arcturus and memories of his past victories, he presses on. Thrakos has liberated creatures from the labyrinth of Etheria, secured powerful artifacts, and defeated monstrous foes. He's also helped free the Enchanted Ten from the Tavern of Dreams, the Grumpy Lion Tavern, and in Volume 3 he encounters numerous dragon gods and faces epic battles, ultimately reaching the Dream Temple of Neurostrios, or Reshepia, but not without a cliffhanger that sets stage for the comic books to come. We're excited to offer digital stretch goals, including remastered editions of Volume 1.5 and Volume 2, and if we reach high goals, we'll do reprints of our old printed books that are out of print. We also plan to enhance this book with beautiful embellishments like spot varnishes and offer exclusive stickers, postcards, and commissions, as well as original art from the series that hasn't been released before. Everything is crafted by hand, by me. There's no AI involved, so we hope you will join us on this epic journey. Thank you for your support, and please help us spread the word. Indie comics need your help now, and we can't make this book without you. See you there.
Very well done. Explained everything. You know, that's what I always look for in a video is I want to get the information. So let me ask you this, Anthony. Why didn't you go with, you know, you could probably have done a whole little skit animation type of thing with you doing voices and having a little bit of fun with it. Why made you go in the explanation direction?
Yeah, so actually that video was done well before because, like I said, we've been working on this for a while. Right. And these skits, these YouTube shorts were kind of like done as a result of the project not funding or getting to the goal. So I just thought, like,
you got creative. I get it.
It's like, you know what? Let's pivot to animated content. There's a guy Australian called Punky Doodles that was a big inspiration. I'm like, you know, and like I thought of it. Like I also was thinking, like, not to get down on the negative and depressed side. I was like, what happens if this doesn't fund? What do I want to be? And I thought, what's the end goal of all this? What is the big dream? And I'm trying to keep that big dream alive. And the big dream is I want to create my own animated series. I want to have my own television series. And I'm like, well, why don't I just fucking do it on YouTube? Excuse the French. Like, why don't I just start making shorts? I've got that many paintings. I have an animation background. And, like, you know, we haven't even gone into the full-blown, you know, eyes moving and mouths moving. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna live the dream by start doing animations, whether this book funds or not. And what's funny is I'm actually having so much fun making these animations with my assistant, and I'm working back in Flash or Adobe Animate again. I'm working with CapCut and no AI, of course, for the animation. And for me, it's just like, well, you know, whether this funds or not, I'm still continuing, and you know, obviously going back to traditional publishing format might work. And then if I show the traditional publishers, hey, we've gone viral for this content, republish our books, and might help as well. So, you know, it's just about being creative. I've also worked in the film and the games industry for 15 years. So I've worked on big games like Path of Exile. I've worked with Disney as well, doing backgrounds for their video games. And I have worked on some feature films in Adelaide, just helped out on a few horror films as well. Worked with Wolf Creek Productions in the past. And, you know, for me, it's like I've done so many things. I do wear many hats. That's just what you do as a creative. And I'm doing this for the love of it. You know, the comics obviously want to pay our bills, but, you know, you kind of have to let the passion drive what you do. And, yeah, who knows? You know, I think we're going to fund. We're at 75%. It just jumped up again. So thanks. Someone backed it. Is it? I've got here. Who was it? Thank you to Mr. Paul Hebert there. So
Paul's a great guy.
He's an awesome guy. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm happy to cross promote everyone else or whatever. I'm happy to promote your book as well. So
I feel like this is the perfect segue for Paul to go.
yeah.
Paul,
Well, before I do that,
who you are.
before I do that, Anthony, you're working primarily in Photoshop, right?
Yeah, painting.
Okay,
Photoshop.
you may want to look at Spine by Esoteric Software.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what I use for animation, and
Right.
you can take layered Photoshop files and export it into Spine, and then Spine will go ahead and give you the essentially the skeleton based on your layered Photoshop files.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Spine.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's not that expensive either. It's only $300 for the software, and you own it forever. So it's got to be one of the strongest platforms that I've used in a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And does that, even if it's just the character's like a flat character and you don't have it broken up into limbs, it's still
yeah. I mean, if you have a flat character, you can then bring it into Spine and actually start to make skeletons out of it. It's easier if they're on separate layers, because that way you can move the layers. But if it's on one layer, Spine will allow you to add the skeleton to it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So
what about face stuff? If I don't want to do, like, movement isn't a huge problem for me. It's more because we've got a lot of dialogue and they're funny memes that we're making. So
right.
like,
well,
what about
here? I mean, basically I set up the main illustration and then came up with 6 faces for the mouth moving for Nick. Right. And this is all done in Spine. So I basically did each layer of the mouth was a separate Photoshop layer and brought it in. And then Spine has a lip syncing add-on you could put in, which is free. And then you can actually lip sync with dialogue in the animation.
So I have a question. Is it a plugin that you put into Photoshop, or is it just that you can put PSD files into Spine?
It's actually just a script you add to it, AZ. So you add a script in Photoshop, and then what you do is just click that script. Is actually a button you click, and the file will export with your named layers. So it's important you name each layer differently. Because when it goes into Spine, it'll go ahead and it'll allow you to, essentially set up all the skeletons really easy.
Fair enough. Because I'm like working in Procreate as well, because I'm on the road a lot with the conventions, and I'm also drawing on Procreate or painting my comics or whatever. Does it work well with Procreate? I mean, I guess it outputs PSD, doesn't it?
Yeah, you got to output the PSD. I don't know if there's an export for Spine for Procreate. I mean, I work in Clip Art. I work in Clip Studio Paint.
Yes,
and
same.
You can export into Photoshop from there, and it has all the layers, so it's easy to do that as well.
Nice.
Sweet. Okay, so the Clip Studio does work with it. All right, nice. Yeah, I learned something. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. I find it invaluable. I discovered it when I was working in Illustrator, because when I did episode 1, I didn't get into the painting. I just was illustrating everything. That's why it looks very much like a flat comic book, all the characters in the initial game. But, I was able to essentially take those into Photoshop and then animate directly from that artwork that I created, from the flat Adobe Illustrator files. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
That's it's Spine. It's Esoteric Software. I'll send you guys the link. I didn't see you on Instagram. I found you. I wasn't sure if it was you or not. Your account was private, but AZ, I can send you the link in the chat. It's fine.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I did a bit of a Google while you were talking about it. I think I've got it. The Esoteric Software.
It's really phenomenal, I have to say. And you export essentially JSON files, and the JSON will, essentially, if you bring into like a game situation, like you talked about, Anthony, if you're going to do a game with it.
I forgot to mention also. Sorry, I've actually got we have got a game live with our Kickstarter. So if the first sorry, but before I leave, obviously, if you look at it, we're partnered with a studio in Adelaide. They're called A Few Dragons, and we're doing a jigsaw puzzle game, because I've actually licensed about 12 different puzzles. I was in Kmart as well. I'll just grab a puzzle or two. So I've been on puzzles all over the world, and we thought, well, we'll make a jigsaw puzzle game, launch it with the 10-year celebration. So these are some of the puzzles that have been in Kmart and stuff.
Very nice.
So we're releasing Luminous Jigsaw puzzles, which is going to be normal puzzle packs of like our dragon gods or our environments, and then narrative packs where you can explore the world. And that's on Steam right now. I can maybe find the link for you. Let me just have a look for you. It should be on the campaign, but
I think I saw something down the bottom with
we just didn't want to focus on that because people might get confused. Basically, if you back us, I think the first 88 people, they get a chance to get early access to the game. I might drop it in the chat for you, but yeah, it's in the chat now. There we go.
I'll make it easier.
Yeah. That looks that animation looks absolutely amazing. That spine animation.
It was fun. I mean, doing the face took a while, but it was really cool that I had just the base artwork, and just with any kind of mouth animation, you just need 6 mouth positions to express the letters. So.
Yeah. Well, it works well because we'll probably have like mascots in our Jigsaw game as well, like as you play and unlock a Jigsaw in a level. Because I think there's a trailer video. I think there maybe. Oh, there it is.
I love that. She loves Jigsaw.
That's a narrative puzzle. So yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah.
Nice.
Wishlist on Steam. So there you go, folks. Go wishlist it on Steam.
Luminous Jigsaw puzzles. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'll follow that.
Yeah, well, we like Steam.
Yeah. Well, if it takes off, I've got like 300 paintings I've been working on since 2010. But we're a few dragons we're going to be licensing. They've released 2 video games. I think one of the video games is called Sacred Acorn. It's a squirrel game. So I've agreed with them that I'm happy to do a few paintings of them, and we do a puzzle pack on their video games, part of our brand. And then we may be talking to other artists and indies, and if it starts to make enough, we can license you guys. So happy to keep dialogues open with anyone that has a brand, and licensing other people as well if we if it's doing really well and it takes off, because we really don't want to do AI art. I think some of the puzzle games out there using AI, and their sales have tanked. Yeah, a lot of them have tanked. But if we can we've got the point of difference where obviously it's all human-made art. And if we run out of art, I'd rather hire people than ruin my brand. I'd rather license other people, so to speak.
Yeah, same. And it's I think people underestimate because there's a lot of the protest against it is a lot more silent than I think people realize as well. So a lot of the time it's less a matter of people going like rabble, 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 and it's more a matter of people going block and unfollow. Yeah. And so because it's the sort of stuff that I'll hear back from from people, and I know from just my own experience is like a lot of the time when you see this stuff, you kind of go, well, I can't really trust this. It's not authentic. It's not real. Yeah. And particularly Gen Z, it's one of those things where they're very much
against it.
They're very much want authenticity. So if someone's kind of saying one thing, doing another, it's going to be an instant turn off for them. So
Agreed. I mean, I get it at the conventions. People love that it's real art, but the other downside, not trying to say what I'm amazing or woe is me or anything like this. The downside I'm seeing now is people walking past my booth giving me evil eye, and I'm like, why the fuck are you doing that to me? Because they think that because my work is realistic,
no.
And so it's fucked up. I give them a satanic thing back. I'm like, fuck you. It's what can I do? I've even put signs up, no AI. I put up things, human-made art, and that's taking up my booth space now because I have to.
You might. I mean, I used to when I worked in the traditional art arena for a while. We had a bit of it wasn't an AI struggle we had, but we had a struggle where someone used to think that it was all prints that one of the people were selling were doing prints back then. And so what we did is we actually, because the guy was on site, so we actually sat him down with sort of a partially finished easel. And and we just sort of sat down and they could see the pencil linings, they could see the whole framing. And then we just,
Yeah, I mean, I've instead got original paintings at shows now, so I kind of showcase all my originals, and I have them right at the front, and so they can see it's tactile, it's real paint. But it's hard when you're trying to sell, and if you're drawing, it just it's really hard because you really want to focus on selling versus you're going to an event to sell. You're not going to an event to what's the word? Paint, unless you've got staff, and then that's another cost. Getting people. And the other thing is as well, I've got great salespeople, but not all of them sell as well as me. There's a couple that there's one or two that are very good at selling. But at the end of the day, I close the deal because the customer wants to buy from the artist.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
But we've seen that happen a lot. When we go to a lot of conventions, and what happens is if the artist or the creator is not at the booth, people will do that whole thing where they're like, I'll come back when they're here.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So go ahead, Paul. Tell the people all the good stuff. Go for it.
Well, I know we kind of dovetail the whole animation thing, but the reason why I am doing this Kickstarter is because I was running into a conflict with episode 2 for the video game I was doing. Formats aren't supported the same way on the App Store and Google Play. One will load an MP4, another one will load, the file format for Firefox. And just like I can't do videos. So what I thought was, okay, if I'm going to have to do animations, I'm going to do artwork. And so I said, if I'm going to do artwork, I might as well make a comic book. So that's what came about with this whole iteration of this comic for episode 2, because I wanted to tell the story. I'm going to have to put the animations in the game anyway, because the first game, is very much like a storybook. It has a chapter book feeling. It has a very cinematic display in terms of the storyline. And so I wanted to continue that because the whole point of Time Enforcers is to make learning history fun. And you have to tell a story. And this is, part sci-fi, part real history, kind of blended together. And the whole point is to introduce characters into the game so that kids can find out about them more fervently and then, do research on their own to get, if they're interested in looking into it. So the point of Time Enforcers is to, provide this information, in a comic book way, but then I also give all the references if kids want to look up, the samurai, if they want to look up Amelia Earhart and all that kind of good stuff. So they actually can source the information they want themselves. And, that's how this came about. So this Kickstarter is for a comic book that I'm doing. It's going to be launched in mid-July. Currently have 12 pages ready to go for a preview edition, and I'll be offering that for sale at our exhibit at Garden State Comic Fest in June. And so that's going to be a 12-page soft cover book that'll go for like $3. I'm really hoping to get people interested in it. And if you sign on to the Kickstarter now, if you follow the campaign, I'll be offering some free bonuses when the campaign launches. So I'm trying to get, the traction, like AZ said, ahead of time and get people interested in this stuff. And I always believe, offering free stuff is what I do. So I'm a capitalist at heart, but I don't know how to make money. But that's the way it works.
Gotta be careful what you manifest, man. You gotta be careful what you say.
My biggest goal is to take this program and make it an education platform, which I have developed.
I think it's perfect for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna fan you up a bit there, man. Because honestly, it's reminding me a lot of what I really, really loved about early Assassin's Creed as a franchise. I still have my soft spot for it, but it's kind of gone a lot more into the sci-fi kind of direction. But it always was, but it was kind of it felt very nostalgic Doctor Who to me when I first stepped into
I know what you're
Assassin's
talking about, because in the beginning it had that beautiful history feel to it. Later on, it started to have a weird.
Well, it was that sort of moment for me where I when I stepped into AC. I remember sort of then going I've crawled around this building, I've gone through this place, and then you're seeing it in real world, and you're like, wow, they really did nail that. And actually, I know about the things I'm looking at now instead of just being that's nice, that's an old building. It's oh man. And so it's for me that kind of faded out, and I was oh, they're not really doing that much anymore. So having someone walk in and be I'll do that, and it's I'm that's cool. Someone actually stepping in and making a comic and kind of going yeah, look, we're going to take you through time. We're going to take you through history. You're going to learn some stuff and you're going to have some fun. And I'm that's something that honestly, I kind of, I miss as a thing that's out there. So yeah, I think that's really cool.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It just, my bigger scale is to make this an education platform for schools. And I actually have it framed out already. I have probably about 15 courses staged out. My problem is getting content done at this point. And so if I can, stage out the content, I'm sure I can get this into either districts, homeschoolers, or charter schools, either one. I've heard from educators. We were at the NJEA convention last fall, which is a big teachers conference in New Jersey, and everyone was just like gaga over this. They're just saying this is what we need.
Yeah.
A few people are just saying, I already do this. It's like, no, you don't do it. You do something else, which is okay. I'm not being critical, but no one's doing what I'm doing. I mean, everything's either AI booted up and it's like kids being isolated and learning, or it's just traditional assessments. And, this is like,
it's
this is
amazing.
really meant to be an experience. And you can see on the table there on the right, I have set up essentially mission manuals for the kids. So every kid gets a mission manual in that they have to do journaling on a daily basis. So it's getting back to reading and writing, doing research, what they call student agency, where the kids can choose the person, place, or thing that they want to investigate within the course of the curriculum. So if you're studying feudal Japan, you can research on a samurai or a daimyo or a shogun, or tea ceremonies were huge in Japan at that time. If you want to investigate tea ceremonies, you can do that. And it's really giving the kids the wherewithal to decide what they want to learn. They do the research, they come back together, and they take the research and then work as a group to make a presentation. And so it's really getting back to basics and, having the kids get involved and make it what we call active learning. And the whole point of the comic is based around what we call universal design for learning. So it's accessible. We're trying to make this as inclusive as possible for any age reader, any level of reader. And that's what's great about the animations on screen. And you can hear the voice, you can see the thought bubbles we have that you saw in that Nick video. It's not closed captioning. They're actually word balloons that pop up that sync with the voice, so that you can read as you go, as opposed to looking at a caption at the bottom of the screen.
I'll put it up for you. Hold on. Ooh. Here we go.
Oh, he's playing Ralph.
If he wants to play.
Here it goes. Scratching.
Los Angeles, the city of angels, 1947. The war's over, but the streets still feel like they're fighting somewhere. Something sinister. The air's thick with the whiffs from Pan's 24, all-you-can-eat blue plate special, hot AZVolt, and bad intentions. Neon signs buzz and flicker, casting purple and green halos into the puddles. Ripples that shift the wrong way, like the streets casting reflections of someone or something that should not belong here. That's where you'll find me, Nick of Time, detective, time enforcer, and the guy they call when history's about to get itself into a knot. Some folks say I'm as tough as a $2 steak, and they're not wrong. But I've got a soft spot for the ones worth saving, the lost souls, the underdogs, the ones who never got their fair shake. I've chased crooks down back alleys, across oceans, and through centuries. And I've learned one thing. Time's got teeth. Bite the wrong way, and it'll chew you up quick and spit you right back out. But me, I keep my rules close, my friends closer, and my watch on tight. Because in this city, and in this job, if you're not watching the clock, you're already out of time.
I still get chills when you do that, Raphael.
I don't know. That voice sounded familiar. I don't know who it is.
So freaking cool.
Great work. That's just amazing. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, the comic is Raphael tests. I'm just having a blast with it. I mean, I've been a comic book reader for over 50 years now, and the way I look at it, it's just I'm going back to my roots, and I just keep showing Ralph stuff, and it's like, this is gonna be an Easter egg. This could be an Easter egg. It's like it's all referring back to everything that I had growing up as a kid. So I'm really excited about this. It's gonna be fun.
It amazes me, and I want Paul to have a team because he keeps doing new stuff and more stuff, and he needs help.
Yeah.
Yeah, my intention is to do the Kickstarter for the comic. I have a tabletop game ready to go. And it's pretty much I'm working on the cards for that now, but in the comic, there's actually what I call agent dossiers, and these are going to be the trading cards that will go into the tabletop game itself. So I'm trying to repurpose all the artwork that I'm doing for one thing into another, so that I make it as modular as possible. So
Cool.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
I like it. I like it.
Thanks. Yeah, if you guys can follow my Kickstarter, appreciate it. I'm at 48. I want to get to 100, and that way I can be in a good position.
Yeah, the first mark is that 50 mark.
Well, you got next now. I'm
Thanks,
following
man.
that one. You got 49 now.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
49. See, now Paul needs to do a 49er thing.
Yeah.
Anthony.
That's 50. That's 50. There you
Awesome,
go.
man. That
Oh,
is the crunch,
50.
man.
There you go.
Less than a month, I'm at 50 followers. I'm liking it.
I could honestly tell you, like, I got stuck at I know it sounds like a bit of a potential gimmicky way, but like I got stuck at like 112 for months. I couldn't get any more. I did put up the stuff on Facebook and started running ads for it at about $3 a day, and within a couple of weeks I got it up to 200.
Really?
And so like there is, I think, mainly because like you were saying, Ralph, it kind of shows it to mostly your own followers as well anyway.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
it kind of just pushes it
So
out there and goes.
Would you say that's helped you? Like, if you've done that for a while, do you think like running an ad to a pre-launch page versus a mailing list is better? Would you say?
My mailing list is still too young to really be as beneficial as others. So I was more. It definitely was beneficial for me being someone who's an early starter in this whole thing. I've heard other people with much more established studios go, there's no point. And I'm like, it probably isn't for them. For myself, like in the mid-campaign, like I hit the mid-campaign Death Valley that everybody does.
Yeah.
And I went, I'm going to go back and just try running another couple of ads. And I did that, and it's, taken it up again. Like it's basically gotten it out in front of people and gone, here it is. So I think maybe for a pre-campaign follow build-up and a mid-campaign Death Valley, it's an option. I don't have enough data yet to know whether it's the best option, but it's an option, and it's certainly like helped myself get to like the 200 follower mark before launch.
I can say this much, like it does get you views, it does get you likes, it does get you people who are who will look at it. So it does something.
Absolutely.
The research that I've done, and I know that Joshua Rubin used this service when he did his first time-sensitive campaign. There's a company called LaunchBoom, and their whole thing is about pre-launch, setting out to an email list, but also using Instagram and Facebook ads, and then getting people to buy in to the campaign before it even starts, meaning, I'll contribute $1.
I've heard about
and then you get like an early bird, release special if you do that, so.
Yeah, I've like, honestly, I think that's a great idea. I only heard about that after like I was already 2 weeks into the campaign, and I'm just like, man, that's brilliant. Like basically people have already done their, like they've invested $1, but like they're like, man, I'm going to get so much more. And it just sort of helps to kind of ease in that relationship where it's like, all right, I'm going to give you way more. You're going to sort of give me a promise. I'm going to give you a crap ton of stuff, and let's get this done. And I think it's a great idea. I mean, I wish I had known about that, like, a couple of months back. That's
what I'm going to try and position with the preview. I'll do that at the show, but I'm going to start selling it at some local shops that I frequent. The guy said they position it for me. So, I mean, it's going to be a sales tool on the back cover as well as the inside back that, follow the Kickstarter. You already spent $3 on this, go ahead and, I'll get you some free stuff if you follow. So type thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that, because I think it's a great idea. You go, hey, here's my Kickstarter, and you already got the book, so you get something special.
You want more? Yeah. I've tipped my hand so much. I don't know what's happening with this issue, but so many surprises are going down with this. I'm just having way too much fun with it. That's my problem.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ones I looked at as well was sort of like yes and on that one was like with the early bird backers, like I think people are used to getting the early bird backer prizes.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did was sort of put in the early bird backer community, and then sort of like with the intention of, hey, like you guys specifically are going to be getting other stuff randomly dropped to you over the next year or so while we're doing other stuff as well. And so it's not just like, oh, so it's like I backed you, because they're really like those first people who jump on in the first 48 hours make all the difference to the campaign. They do. So pretty much it's like, hey, you did this for me. Let me just keep dropping, like, even if it's just digital stickers, like, hey, I drew this funny thing, but it's you guys get it. Hey, I made this thing, you get insight. You guys actually. Then, like, basically, if you keep doing that, then hopefully the next group of people will be like, hey, like, he's offering the early bird, membership again, and I get content cheaper than any other day. I get more loot, and I get access to that thing, which will give me more stuff throughout the year. And it's like, if they've seen it happen already, hopefully more people will get on as well.
I gotta say, it was a great early bird. I saw that. I was like, I gotta hit this.
Yeah, I mean, man, like I sort of sat there and I looked around the office and I was like, okay, everything here is on the table. Like anything that could be, will be. And, if I can get it in there, I will, without sort of, obviously disrupting the whole balance of everything. But I think I wanted to just sort of look at anything that I could get to people without sort of blowing out postage, because we've got international stuff happening, a big international fan base. So it's like, all right, well, we can't blow out postage too much, but what can we really offer that's going to actually be something of value? And so like offering a lot of the stuff that's universe building and enriching, and inside notes, backstory, storyboards, watching, like even just the scrub notes where it's like someone's come in and gone, here's the initial art, and then like all the redlining and stuff going like, no, this has to be like this. Some of those notes are hilarious, by the way. But even like just the fact that like even the backstory for the pitch board, like Punlkys Arcade Beat Em Up was not called Punlkys Arcade Beat Em Up. It was called Yo Jessica. And then there was a journey between getting from Yo Jessica to Punlkys Arcade Beat Em Up. And so it's like we show the whole journey of like how we got there, and like what the story was, and like how it got scrapped. Like, because it was, the idea was we're doing a really, really cheesy 80s blah kind of nostalgia bomb kind of machine gun spray.
You can feel it through your whole project. It's all of that. It's like, I think I was telling you when I was talking to you on Messenger. It just, you have this thing that, it's like nostalgia, 90s, 80s. It hits so many notes. Yeah.
It's definitely Street Fighter, Tron, and everything
Don't
I grew up with
as
a young adult, I want to say.
Because sorry to interrupt. I'm actually I have to run because I have to.
So Anthony, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you. Go for it.
Did you want to put up the page, the Kickstarter?
Oh yeah, I'm putting it up.
Cool. So yeah, achristouart.com. You can find the Kickstarter link there through my website, achristouart.com, or you find me. Lumious Ages is on Kickstarter, Dragon Ascension. I also have a YouTube channel where you can see my funny fart jokes and other fantasy tropes. If you love Lord of the Rings and all that sort of funny stuff, cool stuff. So I think we're getting there. 75% funded, thanks to fans. And if you like fantasy, adventure, you want even a watercolor dragon, if you want me to paint a beautiful watercolor dragon like the one on the left, happy to do that with a comic book. We have different tiers, quite affordable tiers. And I don't know. Any questions before I go? Anything else you want me to?
I don't know. We are going to have you back on the show, especially because, you said D&D, which is the magic word, folks. And we're definitely going to have you back on the show.
Yeah, so this is the D&D book. You can actually back the book. We still have about 200 copies left of the D&D book. It looks gorgeous. John Tedrick.
Oh, man, that looks just like my D&D books when I was a kid.
Yeah, so John Tedrick from Magic the Gathering actually did the cover for this.
That's why it looks like that.
But that's my cover as well. I actually cool thing, I got into Infected by Art.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm actually one of the artists that is getting published on Infected by Art. That's the world's biggest fantasy science fiction horror hardcover book. That book's coming out in a few months, so one of my paintings got in there. So
nice, man. Congrats.
Yeah, that's a huge achievement.
That is amazing.
Yeah, but look, this is filled with like 11 cities. You can get this with the comic right now and all 4 other books. So there's 5 books we've done over 10 years. It's more than that. It's actually 6.
Go away, Temptress. Go.
Come on, I know you want to look at that, man. Look, imagine playing in that city.
I was watching all the beautiful stuff walk around when you were flipping those pages.
Yeah. So
look at that.
Maps and everything. 11 cities, 200 quests, 50 monsters. We have Zodiac dragons.
Damn.
Yeah, lots. It was a huge amount of work. We did that over COVID. So imagine like playing it. What's your star sign, bro? Do you know your star sign?
Oh.
Do you know what month you're born? So that's a Taurus dragon. We have actually got star sign dragon. So if you're an Aries, that's a fuck you up dragon, Aries. So
I love what you're doing there.
yeah. So we have different.
So you're saying that's on the Kickstarter too?
That is on the Kickstarter with the comic, yeah. Or you can get it standalone as well.
Oh my God! Yeah,
this is ultra limited edition. This weighs 70K in 2024. So it's ultra limited edition. This once these are gone, they're gone. My parents are screaming at me, "Hurry up and sell them because they're taking up space." So
we know that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So there's only a few left. So only a couple hundred left. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for having me. I better run.
Go for it,
man.
Have a pleasure having you. We'll have you back on, Anthony. Have a good night.
You can find me on Facebook, Antonios Christou as well. I use that for business. AZ or Paul, feel free to add me there.
Paul, I'll throw you both into a little comment thing there, and then you guys can talk to each other.
But yeah, exactly. Right. It's good to meet other fellow creatives that are doing awesome, great stuff. I really like that comic. I might back it for myself and hide it in the corner. Somewhere.
I'll have to. I think I'll have to sell like disguise sleeves as add-ons that it can look like a wholesome magazine, and people can just pop it over the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. That's actually a great idea. You can make the not safe for work safe for work.
Safe.
All right, guys. Catch you later. Thanks for having me on. Thank you so much. And
take care.
Thank you so much.
And then there were 4.
A removable shell that when you take it off, it shows off the spicy version of the book.
Yeah. Just the vanity sleeve.
It's just the clothing cover. So you could either have the clothing cover on or you just take it off.
They're just like little stickers that you put on. It's like, you just have an outfit. Remember the paper dolls they used to have way back in the day? You just have paper doll outfit that you stick over it.
Oh, if you really want to drive a comic collector mad, just make it the watercolor changing stickers. So when you spray it, the clothes come off.
Oh yeah, man! I swear, half the stuff you guys are coming up with, I'm just like, all right, I should probably pen that down before I forget it. That's probably a good idea.
I think you should use those ideas. Yeah, I can see it working for you.
That could work.
Make the not safe for work safe for work.
I mean, I don't know if you remember the name Punchy that I think you did on the show.
Well, Punky was one of these. I remember when Punky came up. I still remember lightning hitting my brain because I basically, Yo Jessica. I was working in Bad Bug Studios. Bad Bug put out a thing saying hey, writers put forward any ideas. I don't think they do that anymore, but at the time they were doing that. And I was like, okay, cool. And I had an idea for Yo Jessica. And then basically Yo Jessica didn't fit the studio's direction. Basically, it duplicated too many elements from other ones. It had some other things that were overlapping. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. And then basically, as we started to strip it down, I just had this lightning bolt moment hit my head. And I'm just like, oh, no. I need these overlap parts, but I need these other things. I'm going to do something really stupid. And it's either going to pay off or it's going to be really fun to just crash. And I ran off and I started creating this character who had the powers of arcade game machines that had been sort of forced upon her. And I suddenly realized that through that and through this crystal that the enemy had, I could basically recreate the ridiculousness of every other nostalgic situation that I really wanted to just walk through. So it's like, if it's like, for instance, if we decided like, let's do a cheesy nod at the Ninja Turtles, it's like, oh, that's in universe really easy. It's like, and like we're like, oh, what about a Tron nod? And it's like really easy. It's like, okay, like we know how it's going to happen. And the funny part is,
I've enjoyed having these conversations with you about all this over the years since you've been thinking about that.
I'm just happy it's kind of like it in the most loving way possible. I'm just happy it's kind of done now, like that. It's actually like it's ready to be seen, and I can get the next chapter out. And
folks, I gotta tell you, he's been working on this, and he's really been diving into it. He's been really passionate about the whole universe that he's creating.
Well, it's to kind of give you guys an idea of how much this universe is created. So basically, Punky, you're going to get 4 branches that come off that and tie into and intersect into other comics. One of the Easter eggs being planted in Punky isn't actually something that people will realize as a thing. Like the way that I write, I like to open and close circles. I get really annoyed when I watch movies where they don't close their story circles. So don't worry if you see an open circle and it's bugging you. It's just that it's yet to be closed because it bugs me too. So basically, one of them that's going to be opened in Punky, the idea is it's the end of the entire saga later. Like there is something that opens up there. There's hints at who the mega big bad guy is at the end of Demoted Super Zeros in like 12 to 15 comics time in Punky. There is, we get the introduction of the Mistress, who is a villain in this one, but who's kind of like an anti-hero in Candy. And it's like, well, what happened? And like, we're sort of like, so the idea is like, I wanted to create this single world, but like it's the way that I played D&D, right? I grew up on White Wolf's Hunt of the Reckoning. I grew up with D&D, many versions. What I ended up doing about almost 20 years ago, like a lot of GMs do, is you get to a point where your imagination doesn't fit in the sandbox and you create your own game. Yep. And then I created a game system that is basically a multiverse, which, I don't, the way that my multiversal system works is it's not a mirrorverse. They are different planets, different ecosystems, different magic rules in each one. And there is a central linchpin that is introduced in, that I took from that gaming system that I made and put it into Punky and ran it through all the comics. So there is a thing called the Core Stone. And so the core is basically, like, when you're writing, right, you've got soft magic rules and hard magic rules as a writer. And when you're writing fantasy, you've got to kind of pick one. And so for those people who aren't sort of writers or big prolific fantasy readers, what that means is that, like, hard magic is when you have to have rules like, you have to swish and flick and say Leviosa. And then, like, soft magic rule is screaming slugs at somebody and then slugs come out of their mouth, right? And you're just like, slugs! And it's like, so soft magic rules is making wishes. Hard magic rules is building magic from, like, components and spells. So the idea of it is that the universe all works on hard magic rules. You're going to see that in Candy. And basically, when these core stones, the thing that's lodged in Punky's head is a fragment or a shard from the multiversal linchpin called Core, which basically is soft magic. She literally has soft magic embedded in her brain, and the bad guy has a shard of this soft magic. He needs it back so he can basically change reality to his will. And that's sort of, but we dress it up in a campy nature. We make it very fun and very bombastical, and then we move forward from there. So that's revealing some of the less romantic background writing aspects of why it is what it is.
Well, we do that here all the time, especially here on the Written Writ.
And so the idea is basically you're going to see this pink stuff turning up throughout all of the books. So this is a little insider Easter egg from the writing room. When you see pink glowing crap on the page, you are looking at something that is hinting at Core, that is hinting at soft magic rules. And so when you see Trapdoor injecting their serum into their neck and it's pink, and it's like, okay, there's soft magic rules that work here, whether she knows it or not. When you see Punky she is a big pink element. She's all pink design, but she has a pink crystal in her brain, and it's like that is core magic. When you see Candy, and Candy's basically trying to build her world out of these trades and efforts in magic, and she also is trying to get a core stone as well out of this. So it's a lot of these things where it's like we have this similar elements going through different stories. So hopefully readers can feel really comfortable immersing in all of these different little wind throughs and stories. I am extremely excited to bring Candy's Corner right after Punky, because Candy's Corner is kind of like a traffic jam of all these different stories. As you're walking down on the first page, have a little peek in the background, you're going to start seeing characters from Nevermore. When Nevermore happens, those same scenes, they're looking over and seeing it from the other perspective. When Candy's walking down the street, you're going to see Demoted Super Zero and the strip club riot that occurs in the first chapter of Demoted Super Zeros, but from someone else's perspective. When you read Demoted Super Zeros and they're going out of the riot, you're going to see Candy from Candy's Corner walking through that crowd from the other perspective. And that's sort of, there's a lot of these sort of crossovers and overlaps in what I like to call, where in the studio we're penning at the One Bad Night series. So basically all of our issue ones all overlap or at least intersect pretty much.
It's the classic, cross-world type of thing in comics. The stuff they don't do anymore, because now it's all about the big event.
Yeah, well, basically what I wanted to do was just sort of like, obviously people are going to go on with their stories, and we don't really, it's up to the readers and the fans how much the stories continue, but we sort of have a little bit more control with issue one. And so we sort of thought, okay, well, let's create an issue one crossover on a mass scale where everything happens inside this one suburb. And we've got the map, and we've got the overview, and we kind of have a little fun making it look a little like a Moogle map kind of thing. And so the idea is basically bringing everybody into a situation where they're like, oh, they're going down that street, there's that building. Okay, there's these guys here. Like for instance, in Candy's Candy's Corner, we already see the goons on page 1 kicking the absolute snot out of Rick. And then Rick is actually, he's got his own comic, Red Flags, that'll turn up later. But Rick, the muggers that are kicking the crap out of him, in Trapdoor, we actually see them as the first goons we ever see inside that comic. And they're basically inside an elevator and kind of, again, acting like absolute jerks and trying to, big talk each other. So
I gotta say, it looks like Anthony, because he sent me the information, Anthony's backed you as well. So now you are at 12,200.
Nice, awesome, that's great, man. Thank you to Anthony if you're still listening. It's actually one of those things where it's funny because I see the American one versus the Australian one, and it's over on here. So if we're at the Australian one, we're at $16,869.
Oh, that's right, because it's a bit different.
And I'm like, oh, I like watching the Australian one. It makes me way more excited.
I gotta say, yeah,
I hate those conversions.
It's I think if anyone's feeling bad about their campaign, they should just convert it to Australian dollars and just feel really good about it.
Oh, definitely. I think we should all do that. Paul, I think you should do that when you
convert to Australian dollars.
Just convert it to Australian dollars, man. You'll feel so good.
So, guys, I want to remind you guys that Monday, Mata Sorcier will be here. You haven't seen her in a while, but he'll be here Monday because her Kickstarter goes live. And of course, Mata does everything herself. She is the artist, the letterer, she does it all, folks. She's the inker. It's beautiful work. My favorite line that she says is that she does all this work. She can barely afford to pay herself. So join us when Mata Sorcier rejoins us on Monday to kick off her Kickstarter, because this is going to be a big one. This is the 9th issue, folks. That's 9 issues she's done already, all by herself. And as you can see, it's beautiful work. So join us Monday when Mata kicks it off. And at the same time, we will start our coverage as we head to CradleCon. Folks, you want to be there.
When is it again?
Huh?
When is CradleCon again?
It is next weekend.
Next weekend. Which date is?
Is 16 and 17. No, 16 and 17.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. It's coming really fast.
Like,
right?
it's just like another Boba Fett moment. I can tell. It's May 16th and 17th at the Cradle Variations.
Yep.
Yeah, we're good. I'll be there on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to that one. We always look forward to the CradleCon because it is fantastic. AZ, why don't you tell the people one more time where they can find you?
Well, they can find me at Kickstarter. There's Punlkys Arcade Beat Em. In the chat, I've also popped in a Discord link there as well, where people can come and hang out with the community and come and chat. And I put an update up there about every day or two now with the campaign, because we're constantly kicking over stretch goals and making stuff work for everybody. Outside of that, what else have we got going? Yeah, we've got we've basically got a few more comics coming down the pipeline if they want to have a look at that one and see what's happening. Punky themselves is doing really, really well. So that's funded. It's all there. We've got 90% of the stretch goals are all met. So because again, the stretch goals for you guys to, if you just to be aware of, they're all in Australian dollars. So basically we're kicking them over incredibly quickly from my perspective. And that's okay. I will not put American goggles on and then take away half of your prizes.
I hope not, man, because I like the fact that these stretch goals have been reached.
These stretch goals, yeah, that's it. It's like, I'm just, I thought like, it's kind of got pointed out to me as like, wow, we kicked this over, this is awesome. And then like, someone's like, oh, is this American or Australian? And I'm like, well, now it's Australian. And we're going to keep going that way. And so I did try to make it a bit more clearer on my updates. But we've got 2 additional pages. So it's no longer a 24-page book. It's now a 26-page book.
I like when people do that.
Basically, Australian page count or American page count?
It is going to be Australian page count. Otherwise, it would have been 1 page, which would have really annoyed the printers, because they're just like, we don't do this whole like odd number page thing. They would have been on my back. So I'm just keeping it in Australian, double the amount for all of you guys. Basically. What I sort of noticed with all the fans is, I'm going to be honest, I really didn't see where this was going. Everyone sort of went, like, I really put a lot of time into, like, there's Punky and we're going to meet her friend Roxy. And Roxy's going to come in and absolutely, like, probably sweep the show and take the limelight. And then I put all this stuff out of Roxy, and then everyone's like, yeah, nice, good. Anyway, who's this bad guy over here called the Mistress? And I'm like, oh, all right, I need to make a lot more content of her then. And then we're like, oh, I should probably, like, the Mistress was meant to be this person that just kind of burst out. Like, like there's a writing theory called you kick in the door, like, or the bear at the door, where you want to start off with a big impact, and we did. And I kind of wanted to kick in the door and have a bear at the door at the end as well. And we sort of had this old burst out. The Mistress comes out and just starts wrecking stuff right close to the end of the comic. And it was awesome, and it's really fun. But I just sort of thought, oh, wow, I wasn't going to reveal her origin until, like, book 2. But now
I guess
really hyped up about
something now.
So, yeah, I just went, okay, let's put in 2 more pages. You get a little nod into her.
I like that. I like that the 2 pages is even something that the audience will not expect, or that the audience wants.
Yeah, well, it's like, I mean, it's I've had situations where people kind of go like, we're going to add 2 pages, and it kind of extends the end of the book. I've been in those campaigns before. This is sort of like, actually, we're just going to kind of slip it in here, like it kind of goes in the middle and just goes whoop. And because there is a moment where the bad guy, one of the funny little like old school nods I wanted to do with the bad guy was that, like, because the crystal's broken and a big shard of it is in Punky's head, every time he tries to use the crystal, he does it successfully, but it vaporizes his body. Basically, he melts into oblivion, and then he materializes somewhere else randomly. And
that is
that
so
was
D&D.
well, it was very much like what I kind of had this vibe of, like, you know, when you're playing video games and Dr. Robotnik will kind of turn up and then he'll be like, rah, and then the little minion mob will come flying out and then he just flies off, Team Rocket style, just vanishes. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of video games like that in the 80s.
Oh, definitely.
I really
tons.
Oh yeah, so I was just like, that's it. We've got to like bring that to the table. And so I was like, but I need a mechanical reason why it's happening. And so there's one point in the book where like you see him just kind of go, wah, bang, vanishes after using it, and then we don't really see him again for a little bit. And we're like, what happened? Like, where did he go? And then the mistress turns up, and we're like, okay. And it was meant to be a little bit of a viewpoint from Punky, like to give that kind of chaos of like, what is it like being her right now? And I just thought, no, like, you know, let's actually make this a more of a cinematic moment where it kind of flicks across to a point of view. Every single time he turns up somewhere, it's inconvenient or comical. So, you know, we kept it that way. I
really do like how you're putting all this together, and it is and I think I told you in the chat when we were talking that it's a love letter to all this beautiful stuff, video games, cartoons. This, folks, that's why you guys need to go check this out. The sex is nice, but dude, this is actually a love letter to video games, to comic books, to cartoons. Dude, it is such a love letter.
Well, it's one of those ones where so like to set people's expectations. This one's spicy. Like as far as like gratuitous stuff, it's more of a nudity warning on this one. Mainly, it's like that 80s style wardrobe malfunction throughout the whole thing, where it's like, you know, you have the people like, you know, uniforms and outfits being torn all over the place. When it comes to if people are wanting the more like intense stuff, Candy is where that's at. So like basically the next comic after Candy's Corner is definitely more of the intense version. Punky's got like that right amount of 80s movies, let's just call it smut. It's just basically that level. And let's just call it 80s level smut. But basically,
it's exactly what it feels like, though. It does feel like that. And people are like, what do you mean 80s smut? Come on, you guys were there. Don't give me that. Come on, what?
Well, that's the thing as well. I think it's a lot of us who actually like care about it. When we grew up in that stuff, like, and that's where I think the reason I sort of married so much of the nostalgia stuff into it is basically like when we were there, we were kids. And now we're all grown up. So it's like, well, how do we play these games as like grown up? Like, how do we play with like the cartoon sandbox, but now as an adult? Or how do we play with like the arcade video game stuff, but now as an adult? And it's like, there's so much more gore now. There's like that cheesy nudity. There's the like looking at the nostalgic stuff.
See, it's
like,
so funny. You say the cheesy nudity, and the first thing that pops into my head is the Toxic Avenger.
Right. Yeah. It's that kind. Yeah, exactly. Like hitting the nail on the head. It's that kind of stuff.
I know there's people out there going, "What are you talking about?" Go watch the Toxic Avenger or any of the trauma stuff, and you'll get the feeling. And Nathan, I know you snuck in there. You got anything to say?
Support Punky and Sacrimony. Yay!
I love how you're thinking. And folks, I think with that will come to an end here. We are at the 140 mark, and of course, we always love having AZ on, and we'll have him on again. We might try to bring him back before your campaign ends, AZ.
I'm up. Yeah, I'm open for it, man. Absolutely.
Cool. So there you have it, folks. Go support this. This is a love letter to video games, to 80s cartoons, to all that beautiful stuff from the 80s. And if you love that trauma smut, then you're gonna love this smut.
No more telling excuses about the funding goals are AC. If you pull that stuff from the Americans, I'm pulling my support. So I want all the free stuff.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. No, there is so much stuff. I've actually had to look at because Kickstarter. Sorry, not to go off on a big tangent, but Kickstarter, to give you guys an idea of how much I've secured that things have to be sent to you guys. Kickstarter, I was originally like, yeah, you can manage it all. Like, we'll do all this distribution stuff. And then I realized they've got a 2 gig limit. I'm sending out so much stuff to all of you guys that 2 gig isn't enough. So just be aware that it's going to be, some of you may be like, oh, get lost, AZ. Like, I'm not downloading that much stuff. And I'm just like, well.
Wait, so what I'm hearing is you're going to be sending floppy disks.
Ooh. There you go. We're going to go all 80s. AZ's going to send you a floppy.
Dude, if I had to send a floppy, 2 gigs worth of floppies, there'd be like a
Can you
truck.
imagine?
Hey, they did once make a 1 terabyte floppy. It was very short lived, but it does exist.
You know what? I would love to just, you know what I think would be awesome is if we found a floppy disk, like a USB drive that looks like a floppy disk, and like that would be cool.
That would be cool.
There are some.
Yeah, that'd be a cool thing. I'm absolutely not prepared for that, but
well,
I'll have to keep that in
floppy
mind.
disk. Are you saying 5 1/4 or 2 1/8 or 2 1/2? Or are you gonna, what's your specification there? I'm sorry, I'm really getting the weeds now. Come on.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, man. You know what? Like, I was at that age, I was kind of like, here's the thing, and it's got the little snappy bit at the top, and that's about how I used to interface with that as a kid. I was like, so I think basically, yeah. So the biggest space hog is I'm sending out the coloring in book to all of the early bird backers. Sorry, that was not an early bird backer. That was a stretch goal. So everyone is getting that sent along. So basically, as everyone sends that out, there's the spicy voice clip, which itself is, that's going to have its space and size. There's the the posters and things like that, the digital posters and backgrounds and stuff like that, and even the digital calendar.
So much, I gotta say, like, and I do feel like sometimes the digital guys kind of get the short end of the stick, but I feel like with your campaign,
they're eating good.
Yeah. You want to be digital, folks. All right, folks,
yeah.
There it is. AZ, go check him out. We'll have him on again before the Kickstarter ends, so we can show you more stuff, and he can be like, "Look, man, we opened up all this stuff."
Yeah. Also, absolutely, and check out, like, anytime you jump onto the campaign, just keep looking at the add-ons and the updates, because I'm constantly just like, we're in week 3. You need more presents for week 3. Okay, we're in week 4. Have more presents.
See,
so
that's the way you run a campaign, folks.
Give stuff away. I mean, Paul was saying it before. He's like, I just got to give stuff away, and I'm like, I get it.
Sometimes Paul's taking notes. He's like, give more stuff. Okay.
It's like sometimes you just want to be Santa Claus.
Well, I like the digigital stuff. The digital stuff is like easy. I mean, I start getting the physical merch, then it gets a little cringy.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous for giveaways, man. The physical merch
definitely. Folks,
that can catch up on you.
Stuff. Go get some digital stuff. Go support all these beautiful people. And of course, on this show, when it ends, I do this. I press the button, and we're